shop as I finish out that knife I was working on the other day. I'll flip this camera around and kind of show you where we're sitting at right now. We got our handles, half of our handles done. The shiny one's got to get blasted yet. Our blade is all ground, heat treated. Everything's kind of prepped for heat treat now. So we got a really cool finish on this Timascus. It's like pinks, purples, golds, silvers, all kinds of stuff going on in there. It came out really, really neat. Don't mind that's just my masking for my pivot area, but that came out really cool. Should look really good. Everything else is going to get blackout finished, which should be nice. So I'm going to kind of just run through it. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to put my tunes on, try and set you up in a spot where you can see what I'm doing, and go from there. I'll try and kind of check comments as I'm going here. Flip this camera around. Put this guy to follow me around. All right, I think we're good. Get some of my parts ready. Hopefully it doesn't just decide it wants to start filming the ceiling again. That happened the other day. Somebody kept going, what are we looking at, a window, a window? And I didn't look at the video yet, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about, a window? And then I looked at the video, I'm like, oh geez, it was just filming the ceiling up there for 25 minutes or 30 minutes. Well, get our glass cabinet ready. I'll show you. So this is how the parts are going in. All nice and shiny. They're going to come out matte here shortly. Alright. I'm going to have to run the vacuum, so it's going to be a little noisy, but I'm sure you'll get over it. Alright, let's blast some parts. Follow me? Okay, good deal. That's the noisy part done. Alright. And now, nice flat. Everything is a nice even finish. That's what you want. Before you start putting your actual finish on it, you want to get everything nice and clean. So they went in shiny and they came out matte. Nice and cleaned up, ready to go. Let's see, I think first we'll do our black oxide on our blade. That's pretty easy for me to set up and shoot. So take our blade, we're going to make this thing black, and then we're going to throw a stone wash on it, which is pretty simple. Oh, let me just make some room here. I was doing some anno work earlier, so that can go away. And this is our stainless oxide here. Let's see if I can't set this up right here and point you guys down so you can see this thing, how fast this stuff works. It's unbelievable. Let's see. Do that like so. Just get this set up here. That's our black oxide. There's our blade. Let me get a paper towel quick. Hopefully it's going to stay following me, we'll see. Alright. Now, tracking off. Oh, hi, how's it going? Alright, let's point you down. I got a hell of a rig going on here. Let's see if I can get this to stay. Kind of like that. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. I don't know whether you are or not. Let's see. Can it stay? No. I'll try and get it in the screen here. You can put it right there. There we go. So, gray blade goes in. Black blade's going to come out. You'll see how fast this will start to turn. Already just a couple seconds, look at how much darker we are. Oh, come on. We'll let that sit in there for a minute and then we'll rinse it off. Chuck it in the tube for stone washing. I've got to replace this solution here pretty soon. It'll last longer than you think, though. It'll stay. You could probably darken blades for well over a year on one jug of this stuff. It's a black oxide coating from a company called Caswell Plating. And there, we're almost there. See how much darker we are than when we started? And the blast, you can see how it's a nice even finish. That's what the blast does. When you blast it in the blast cabinet, it makes all your finishes very nice and even and crisp. Give it another couple seconds. You know what? In the meantime, you guys have seen that. I'll get this bad boy set back up looking at me, so you can all see my pretty face. Alright, there we go. I think that's about good. That's nice and dark. So we're going to rinse it off. I'm going to put this whole thing back over here so I don't spill it somewhere. Let's give it a rinse. And then to stone wash it, just a big piece of 4-inch PVC with some rocks in it, believe it or not. I'll tell you what, works great. I've been stone washing blades in this thing for better part of 15 years, if not more. And it does an excellent hand stone wash versus sticking it in a tumbler for hours and all that. This takes 30 seconds. Throw it in, seal it up. Might be it's going to be loud when I shake this, but sorry. And that's it. We're done. Now you'll see the finish that comes off of this. And what the stone wash does, it smooths everything out, makes the surface finish much smoother, so it's not rough from the blast media. And it also gives it a little, I don't want to say texture because you can't feel it, but it gives it a little, all these little marks on it that help hide abuse. So when you use the knife, it doesn't get all scratched up and look terrible. It pretty much always looks new because it comes pre-scratched, if you will. But it's a very kind of uneven pattern. I'll show you. Rinse it off quick. It's going to be hard to see. Let me oil it quick. Go. Now we've got a nice even black. You can see that the little reflections in there a little bit. That's what the stone wash does to it. Now I've got a nice even black finish over the whole blade. And we'll move on to the next thing. It's coming along. I think we'll do we'll do this first. We'll do our frame first. We're going to darken this titanium frame. And the way how you do this is get it super, super hot and then just quench it right in WD-40. And it's going to make that gray turn black. Now, titanium is very, very hard to get black. It took a lot of fooling around for years to figure out exactly how to do it. It's essentially like your heat treating the blade. You get it red hot and quench it in WD-40. So we'll get our jug out here. You might be good just right where you're at. Let's see. You need that. You need this. You need a little pin. I use these kind of titanium rods to hang these on, so that I don't have to grab the piece itself. It's going to go in a little forge over here. I'll show you in a second. That's going to set up in there. There we go. Let's see if I can turn this off tracking and just get you shining on the forge here. So this little thing right here is a little tiny forge. Little tiny one. What I'll do is I open up this drawer and just stick a torch right in. It works excellent for heating stuff up. Clips, back spacers, frame pieces, stuff like that. When you don't want to bust out a big giant forge or a big giant torch, you can use just a little torch like this. And work great. We're just going to let that sit there. It's a very convenient shelf right there that this sits at the perfect height. That's going to heat up for a while. I don't know, it'll probably take 5 minutes or so to heat up. Sometimes I got to do a little fiddling. Get this thing sitting at just the right level where I want it to be. You don't want your heat directly on your part as much as just in the general area. Come on now. You're doing this to me. Right there. No. Not an uncooperator. There we go. That's what we wanted right there. So that's going to hit. You'll see that whole inside of that little forge is going to be glowing red here shortly. And in the meantime, I'm going to sneak past you. I'm going to black out our pivot screw. I'll show you how I do that. It's going to be the same thing. So here's our pivot screw. Right now the gray fresh out of blast. And all we're going to do is grab them, heat them up, quench them in WD, and it'll blacken them right up. So kind of double duty right now. Heating that and heating this. So I'm going to get this thing red hot. And then bing, right into the WD. Let's see if I can point this down a little bit more. There we go. And now, we've got a black one. So we went from that to that. Let's do our other one. By that time, our forge here is getting pretty close to ready. We're already glowing hot in the back. Same deal. We're getting it red hot. Perfect. Nice and black. I'll set it down here on this glass to cool down for a while. In the meantime, I'll get a rag and wipe these off. We're almost there. It's like really cooking. See if I can give you guys a little bit better of a view of this when I quench this thing and how it looks. Where's my WD? Oh, there's my WD right there. Okay. See if I can back this up a little bit. This is one of those times when a taller camera would come in handy. There we go. Now you can see what's going on with that. This is almost ready. So I'm going to do the short cuts over here, and then I'm going to transfer it right into this. It might flame up a little bit, we'll see. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Went in red hot titanium. Kill that. There we go. And come out a nice dark black. That's what we want. Alright. I'm going to run this under some water and cool it off, and then I'll adjust that camera up. Should be good. So, nice and dark. Now we're going to do the same thing with that. We're going to stone wash that. Half of the frame there, as well as our pivot screw. I'll go ahead and turn this guy back up. There we go. And go back to track. Alright. You can see how, I don't know if, it stopped glowing now, but it cools down pretty quick with an open thing. But those steel rods that are in there are still glowing in that little forge. Alright, let's stone wash this guy. I wonder if this fits in my little stone washer, which is just a jug, but it works fantastic. I think it does, actually. Yeah, I think it does, okay. I'm going to throw my pivot together, and we'll put that in there with it. How's everybody doing tonight, alright? Having a good night? I hope so. Hopefully this blade's going to turn out pretty cool when it's all done. We're going to find out. Not too long here. Back to shaking. Let's see how that did. That looks pretty good. Looks nice and kind of like a distressed look. That's what we wanted. Perfect. It's a really kind of a big contrast. We've got really fancy material on one side of the knife, and then the other side it looks distressed. So and it'll be a really nice contrast to all those colors that are in the other one, in the other half, if you will. Oop! Almost forgot to get our pivot out of there. That wouldn't have been good. Now we just got to find it. Oh, I see it. Come on out. Fish that out of there. Alright, let's give these parts a rinse. Nope. Okay. If you're wondering what I'm spraying on there, it's just WD-40. Nothing crazy. go. We got nice black parts, and we're pretty much ready for final assembly on this thing. Let me just get this arranged here a little bit, and I'll get you set up over here so you can see this. Let's see. You're gonna fit here. You're gonna find out. Let's see here. Okay. Let's get you pointed in the right direction. Not that way. Okay. That seems pretty centered. I just got it's a little external screen that I could stick kind of right here, just out of view, so I can actually, like right now, I can't really see what I'm filming as much. But that little external screen is charging right now. That will go a long ways for me knowing what the hell's going on that video. I think you guys can see everything there. Well, a little bit more over. Let's see. Right there. Just want to give myself some assembly area here. Get another paper towel. Okay. Let's start our final assembly here. Lock spring seems good. We need our frog lube. This stuff is great. This is what I use on all the pivots and stuff like that. I don't use oil, not on frame locks because it can get on the lock face and then that causes stick, and nobody likes lock stick. I just paint a little bit on. I feel like I'm like Bob Ross right now. Some happy little wax lube, whatever you want to call it. Separate our pivot. Okay. Now, throw a little Loctite in there on the back half. Oh, that was a lot of Loctite, Jesus. There we go. Got some of that out of there. All right. Put it through. Get our stop pin in. Fits nicely. Put our bearing on. Now what I like to do here is just stick the blade on here and run it back and forth a little bit. And what that does is then it gives me a little mark for my detent track, which I don't know if it might not pick up on here. You can kind of see it right there. It's like a little half moon going this way. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But then I know exactly where to paint on my my paste wax here, a little lube here, rather than smearing it all over the place. So basically what you're seeing now is the culmination of about a week and a half's worth of work. Something like that. Bearing. Put our other bearing in. Get our show scale. Take our masking off. Come on. There we go. And one more. You can see what that started out as without the masking. Just plain silver look, and then you got to etch it and flame it and all kinds of other things to get it to look like that. Put a little lube on this. There we go. I always like to put a little piece of tape on this flathead. Otherwise you start to scratch up the inside of that pivot, and nobody really likes that, so put a little piece of tape on it. I think I'm spinning on the other side. Yep, sure was. I'm not going to tighten that down all the way yet. I want to get the rest of the knife fully kind of together. Line up our back spacer. I forget which one goes where. I think the longer one goes here, slightly longer. Make sure we're sitting correctly. Right there looks perfect. Torque it down. Okay, we're sitting a little bit off center. So let's see what we got going on here. Tighten that down, make sure we're all the way pressed in there. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Do a little adjusting here. Sometimes you gotta do this. There we go. Alright, let's throw a clip on. Nope. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. There we go. We've got a fully assembled knife. And there she is. Lockup looks good. Everything looks right on it. Hell yeah. It's that simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I'm out of here. Have a great day, everyone.